Hello students, I'll be briefly covering the first module of computer networks and protocols. So this is a subject that basically covers the architecture of how an internet of today's world works. So in the module one, we'll be basically understanding the need for a computer network and what are the different types of network architectures and how are the systems connected with each other, followed by the layered architecture that's very important for the networking to happen, and the difference between the two major type of networks, the TCP/IP and the OSI, will be covered with different addressings that are used in a network. So let us directly go to module 1. So basically, you need data communication because there are two parties which may be physically far apart, but they want to share information, they want to share the resources. Then it's possible by data communication. So this data communication can happen through a wired media or a wireless media. So there are certain fundamental characteristics that should be followed in every data communication. First one is delivery. Delivery is that the information, whatever you have, should be handed over to the right destination. Okay, so that's delivery. Like a postman delivers a letter to your home, same way the data over the internet should be delivered to the correct destination. Second parameter is accuracy. So it ensures that the data transmitted over the internet is safe and sound. Okay, it is not tampered, it is free of errors, so that it can be used productively at the receiving end. The third parameter is the timeliness. It's very important that the data you are trying to transmit should reach the destination within a specified amount of time. So a late information is something like no information. That should not happen. So timeliness is a very important characteristic. Finally, jitter. Jitter is the say suppose you have one huge information to transmit, which has been broken into smaller packets or smaller chunks. Now all of them should reach the destination in with minimum latency. They should not arrive very much delayed way, out of order. It becomes very difficult to reassemble or understand how the information is. So all these parameters define the accuracy or the characteristic of your data communication. Now, basically, a simple model of data communication looks like this. You have a sender, you have a receiver. So the sender is trying to send some information to the receiver, and that information is generically called as a message. Information has to go through on some medium. It may be a wireless medium, it may be a copper wire, twisted pair, coaxial cable, or an optical fiber. But both sender and receiver follow certain rules. It is not that sender transmits however he wants and the receiver is not able to receive, will discard it. No, it's not like that. They are both following some set of rules which mutually they have agreed on. So that's basically a data communication system. So we can have three types of data communication here. One is the data transmission only in a single direction, like a system sending something to a printer to print or downloading some information from a server to the system, simplex. Then you have data transmission in both the direction, but at a time it cannot be bidirectional. At a time it can be only unidirectional. That is called half duplex. And if the data transmission is happening in both the direction at the same time, it is full duplex. So obviously we would like to prefer a full duplex communication because you may be communicating with your friend at the same time the friend may also be messaging you back. It can be a data transmission at any point of time in both the directions. So bidirectional or full duplex communication is preferred. So coming to the definition of a network, it's a set of devices connected by a communication link. A node can be a computer, printer, or any other device that is capable of sending and receiving data. Generally, we say computer network is a set of autonomous systems, means each system can work independently but they can also be a part of a network. Like at your home, you may have a network with one or two laptops, a few mobiles, okay, connected together to share the data. So there are certain things that we should know about a network. One is the network criteria. Second is its physical structure, how it is connected, and types of networks. So network criteria can be, first one is performance. So how good your network is can be measured with two parameters, the delay and the throughput. Delay is the time when you send something to the time it arrives at the destination. So this delay cannot be very large. Say you are trying to download something from an internet. If it takes a very long time, obviously uh, you'll be irritated. You don't like it. You want the data to be downloaded at a faster rate. So delay should be minimum. Throughput is again very similar to delay. Throughput is how many such transactions you can make in a given time. Again, you want a high throughput. So you may be downloading multiple informations at the same time. So how good your network is and how fast it can deliver you everything you want. Next is reliability. So reliability is the network should not fail. Okay, it should deliver your information to the right destination. So it should be robust. If one path uh, or one link is broken, there should be other ways to reach the destination. Then you say it is robust and it is reliable. Finally, security. See, internet is something that's potentially used by everybody, as also it is very fragile. So since most of the data transmission happen wirelessly, anybody can hack the data or anybody can steal your data. So security is very important. In today's world, you all know, most of us do um, online digital transactions involving money. So you are doing all your banking transaction online. Nobody goes to banks these days, or very less. So security plays a very important issue. Okay. Coming to the physical structure, how you can connect the systems in a network. Systems means individual processing elements. Say it may be a computer, desktop, laptop, or your mobile, or PDAs, whatever it can be. So how do you connect them together? One is point to point, means there is one transmitter, one receiver. That's a simple possible scenario. The sender sends, the receiver receives. Whereas sometimes it can be point to multi-point, means a sender is transmitting and there are multiple users who receive the data. So that is something called a broadcasting. So that situation also can be there. Physical topologies are physically how exactly your systems are connected. So in that, again, the transmission can be unicast, multicast, and broadcast. So unicast means, as you see in point to point, single transmitter, single receiver is unicast, means the data is sent to only one receiver. Multicast is the data is sent to a group of users. Say there is a uh, um, company. So in a company, a few people are working in one project. The project manager wants to send information to only his team. Then it is multicast. Whereas broadcast is, say the CEO of the company wants to tell something good news to all his employees, then it will be broadcast. Okay. So you have different types of messages that you can send, different type of transmissions that you can do on an internet. These pictures tell you that. I will not stress much. This is point to point and this is multi-point. So coming to topologies, it's very important how exactly the systems are connected in a network. So there are different topologies. First one is the mesh topology. Here each node is connected to every other node. So this is the most robust network because any link failure will not affect the working of the network because there are multiple other paths to reach the destination. But as you can see, it's very complex structure. More physical wiring has been done. So it will be expensive to maintain this. Okay. Only thing is it's very robust. And of course, you can understand here it's only 5 networks and you have used roughly around 9 connectors, 9 links. But if you increase the number of networks, the number of connecting wires also will keep on increasing. 2n wires, where n is the number of nodes. Now, physically, it is not possible. Practically, it's not possible when the network becomes huge. Coming to star topology, you have a central hub and all the stations are connected to that hub. So any communication between two stations happens through the central hub. So the hub should have the capacity to route the data between the individual nodes. Now, star is a very easy topology to maintain. Okay. So when you have multiple users sitting on the same floor or maybe sitting in the same office, they can all be connected to the central hub. And in a star topology, if one link fails, only that station will be disconnected from the network, but rest all will be still working through the hub. If hub fails, then all the stations will be not working. So coming to the third category, the bus topology. So you have one common bus, and to that bus there are multiple stations connected to a point called drop line, a tap. So this is the point, access point where the stations are connected. Now in this case, it's a very, very simple topology. Very less maintenance is required for this, and easily it can be extended by putting some repeaters. But there is one major issue in this particular topology. So if this station wants to communicate with this station, it will put the data on the common line and everybody sees the station whose destination address matches should pick it. Now, the problem is at any instant, if more than one station is active, they all are sharing the same bus. And you can see the connecting bus is having a higher bandwidth than the drop lines because it has to handle lot of traffic. So bus topologies may be used for labs and such things where you are not transferring much amount of data. So there you can use it. Next is ring topology. So the stations are connected here in the form of a ring. Station means individual systems, laptops, desktops, or mobiles. So they are connected in the form of a ring. And here the ring can be unidirectional or bidirectional. Unidirectional means data transfer happens only in one direction. The problem with that will be um, it will take lot of time for you to reach from one station to another, even though physically they are near. But if it is bidirectional, at least the time required to reach a destination would be half. Another thing, the problem with the unidirectional ring is if the link fails between two stations, if the link fails between two stations, then the entire ring topology will stand still. There is no activity happening there. But if it is bidirectional link, if one of the link fails also, the other link can be used to transmit the data, though the process may achieve you slower speed. So the best topology that you can have is star or bus. So here you can see a scenario where you have mixed the two topologies. So these are the bus topologies connected together to a hub, that is the star. By this, you can easily extend your network. You can have more users. So it can be in an office with multiple bays where you have put stations and different users can work at the different stations.